efficient articulation. Articulation is a fancy word for tonguing. How do we separate the notes using our tongue? How do we make them say what we want them to say so the audience's ear will receive it the way we intend it to be received? All right, so I want you to think back to our efficient air lesson. Remember we talked about the water faucet, water coming out of a faucet. So a lot of people, when they're tonguing, you will see this whole mechanism shut down for each one. Look at my throat. Terrible. Oh man, I'm breaking like every rule I've taught you over this time together. That's not what we want. What we want is this. Consider this, and you can pause the video in a minute after I describe this and go try it for yourself. So go to that same kitchen or that same bathroom where you turned on the faucet all those moments ago. Turn on the faucet, watch the water hit the bottom of the sink, okay? Now, first, I want you to take the knob and turn it off and on again. This is what we do not want in trumpet articulation, okay? We never want the source. We never want to kill the air core, okay? What we want is to put our hand into the water stream, the same way our tongue is just simply going to get in the way of that air core for just a moment in order to articulate, okay? So the water's going down and you leave the water running, it's going, here's my hand and the water's going to go, simply gets in the way of the water stream. So that's what I'm talking about. Your tongue will simply get in the way of the airstream or of the air core. Okay, so we're going to build some habits. A couple things I want you to think about. The more you think about your articulation, the better it's going to be for you. The more you consider what you're doing. Everybody is living out a technique that they have drilled into their playing, right? Some have just not been thought out that well. Some haven't been thought out at all. You just had a habit that kind of worked and you were in the marching band and you were able to get the solo out, and so that's how I tongue. End of story. It may not be the most efficient way to play, okay? And it may be holding you back. And so I want you to look at this, a couple of things that over the years, just through a lot of analysis and a lot of picking guys' brains and lessons and study and research, some of the best practices that I've found for articulation. First, we're going to use the area just behind the tip of the tongue. We're not tonguing with the tip. The tip of the tongue, we're not tonguing with that. I just don't feel like it's solid and dependable enough. I don't think it can be as consistent as we want it to be, right? We need to use something that's a little more beefy. So we're going to use, right after the tip of the tongue, we're going to use this next third right here. Look here. Not here, but... If you were to say ch or no ch, say ch. That is the part of your tongue you want to tongue with. Chew. Okay. Articulate not on your teeth or not between your teeth, but take that area right behind the tip of your tongue, and you're going to articulate. You're going to get in the way of the air core where your teeth meet your palate, okay? So imagine my hand, imagine this is the palate, and this is the teeth. This right here is where they meet, and so I want my tongue to hit there. I want to keep my tongue as parallel as possible, the least possible movement. I don't want to initiate from here, right? And one way I found that is helpful is what's called anchor tonguing. Now, you do not have to switch to this kind of tonguing, but as a concept you might want to consider as you're trying to think through the most efficient way for you. So in anchor tonguing, we take the tip of our tongue, so we get that out of the way right quick, and we put it behind our bottom teeth. Here. So it makes it really easy. It puts that exact area of the tongue into that exact area where the palate meets the teeth like we just talked about without having to do a bunch of measurement, right? See, if it's hard to get a measuring tape in your mouth anyway. So, now when you are practicing these things, you want to work slowly and really listen to yourself. You may want to record yourself. Because articulation is very important. It's what presents your tone to people. It's what really decides whether or not you have a clean presentation of a song. It decides whether or not you're swinging, right? It decides the style that you're trying to play. It's of utmost importance for all of those considerations. So we want to work slowly and listen to yourself. You also want to minimize the movement of your mouth. Again, efficiency says, right, the less movement, the less effort, the better. And so make sure that you are, when you're playing, that you are not moving too much, especially visibly when you look like in front of a mirror, you know. Use a metronome when you are playing. Make sure to keep that thing consistent. It doesn't have to be fast. And again, like I said, look in the mirror while you play. When you are tonguing, when you are playing something, if you noticed, if you weren't listening, you wouldn't know I was tonguing. I think it's important that you strive for that. That way you're going to get less movement. You're going to get a less like kind of recoil out of your chops, and you're going to get more of just a pure and clean articulation. So the concept, remember, the air core is like a faucet. The tongue cuts the air core, just like the hand cuts the water. And I want you to say the syllables you want heard. When you are practicing this next exercise that I have provided in this module for lesson 5, when you're practicing this, you can practice it with a number of syllables. I do recommend cha. Also do it with a T, a ta 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 ta, and with a da 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 da. But make sure that you have an opportunity to try all of those, right? Try it with a T, try it with a K, try it with a G. This is going to help you down the road when you get to more advanced studies and you're working on your multiple tonguing. You'll already have those syllables in place and at your disposal. Be a lot easier than starting from scratch. Now, what I've given you here in the final set of exercises is simply something like you would see in the articulation section of the Arbenz book. What I've done is I've put repeats on every bar because I don't want you rushing it. So if you look at it, you can open up that file if you're at your computer or if you've already printed it up. If you look at it, and I'll just hold it up for you right quick. Here it is. See the half notes, the quarter notes, the eighth notes, the triplets. A whole practice day can just be the half notes on each of these notes. It doesn't have to be that you get through everything. Because remember, you're trying to do it right. You're not just trying to get through it. So I may just say for the first one, all of the things we've learned over the course of our playing, from our posture to our legs and our feet and our chest and our shoulders and our hands and our fingers and our breathing and our tongue, all these things are now coming into play when I play this first one. Stop for a minute and say, all right, what did I like about that? You know what I didn't like about that just now? I felt like it was a little brash and a little bit blatant. I felt like the tongue was a little bit too hard and everything was a little bit too separated. I'd like it to be softer and more pleasing to listen to, right? I tell that to myself because there's no one here to tell me that. And it's the same with you in the practice room. You can take your time, make it sound the way you want it to sound. Now, there will be a subsequent video to follow that goes along with this one, that you will be able to practice just through this whole exercise with me. And feel free to use that as much as you'd like. Guys, it's been great working with you through these lessons. The last video lesson is going to discuss how to practice well. There's no accompaniment documentation with that. It's really just some best practices that I want to share with you as you go on your way and use these concepts to play the very best that you can. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this course. Please tell your friends about it, and I will talk to you later. Happy practicing.